Give it a second. Once again, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. Uh, this call is being recorded and we place our recordings on our YouTube channel. So if you don't wanna, not comfortable with it, you may wanna drop off now. So with that, let's go over with our topic of discussion. We're gonna talk about Azure Kubernetes Fleet Manager. Um, this is a new service, first party service that Microsoft has released a bit of a time, but I just want to talk about it since there are some of the new features which have gone into public preview. So first of all, as we always do, we are going to do what are the use cases that it's or use case that is trying to address this service. Second, we're going to talk about the uh, how it works, what are the key components, what are the key features, and with that we are going to go into the demo. So it's going to be some slides, some demo, just to clear the concept and things like that. So with that, let's talk about what this service is and what use case is trying to address. So as you know, Kubernetes is one of the or the most popular uh, container orchestrator to build as a to use as a foundation to build your microservices to your application. Okay, a number of organizations uh, have adopted it, and it's kind of a spreading like a wildfire. And just like with that, AKS, which is built a managed offering of Kubernetes. So m- these organizations, they don't have one, two, or three clusters. Most organizations have tens, hundreds, or in some cases, thousands of these clusters. So when you have this, think of it, you have these thousands of or tens, hundreds of thousands of AKS cluster. Now the another issue may arise, like how you make sure that they are on the latest version, they have all the security patches there, they have the latest node image, all of that, because that can become a security issue or a support issue. As you know, that AKS releases major and minor version updates, all of that regularly, and to add new feature to address security, issue and all that. So now what you have to do is you have to make sure that you are, have all of these latest up and greatest updates applied. Otherwise, what may happen is that you may be out of support or you may not be taking advantage of all the great features that are coming. So that's the reason to keep it updated. So how you update these clusters, and it becomes like kind of a big management headache. That's the problem that Azure Kubernetes Fleet Manager addresses. It gives you the ability to address scores of number one, orchestrate updates. So let's go to the next slide. So it allows you to, first of all, it allows you to add clusters as a part of your fleet, and then it allows you the ability to orchestrate updates across these clusters. Because think of it, let's say that you have um, 15 clusters, five of them are dev clusters, and then our production. You want to first apply update into the dev to make sure everything is working and test it out, and then you propagate the update. That can be a node image update or a Kubernetes version update. Then you want to propagate next. The last thing you want to do is apply update to all the AKS cluster, and then you may have issues in production. So if you have an issue in test, then you can fix it and mitigate it, all that good stuff. So that how you do that, that's where Fleet Manager comes into picture, and it allows you to orchestrate those updates and it has certain concepts like stages, like update groups and runs, and we will take a look at that. Okay, and then you have, let's say that you have certain objects that you want to deploy on all of your AKS cluster or a certain set of AKS cluster. They may be daemon set, they may be certain services that you have want to have. Okay, how you do that? Once again, these tasks, of course, can be scripted and automated and all that. But once again, that's the service that comes into picture, which allows you to do it more in a simpler way, in a more in a way where you can control these resource propagation to different member cluster. And finally, it allows you to load balance across different clusters. So for example, let's say that you have an application that has active deployment. You have a cluster in West US, you have a cluster in East US, and you want to load balance. Yeah, definitely you can do load balancing different ways. You can deploy, some sort of a traffic manager, but it has a built-in capability, and that's also in public preview, this piece, where you can use an ingress that goes between these two clusters. So you can create an ingress that goes between two clusters and will kind of a load balance across those. So that's some of the things that it allows um, so let's move on and let's first talk about what are the two different modes. So when you create, and we will look at it in the demo as well. When you create the fleet AKS Fleet Manager, what it allows you to do is allow you to do two modes. One is a hubless mode without any hub cluster, and the other one is a with hub cluster. So what is a hub cluster? It's a cluster that is deployed into your subscription managed by Microsoft. Okay, so just keep in mind, if you do the hub cluster, you are paying for that hub cluster. So just the cost will be higher. Okay. On the other hand, without hub cluster, you basically are deploying it, but you can only do certain things. For example, without hub cluster, the only thing you can do is you can do multi-cluster updates. You don't have the ability to for resource propagation, object propagation, or do cross-cluster load balancer alpha. So you won't get those capabilities. So just keep that in mind. So there is an extra cost, but you get more features. So that's the difference between these two. Okay, so first of all, let's look at the orchestrating updates. Some of the concept before we jump into the demo. So what you do is, first of all, you create the fleet manager, then you add um, member clusters to it. So those clusters, which clusters you can add? You may ask. Number one, the clusters that are in your subscription, or the clusters that are in different subscription but in the same tenant. You can add those clusters into the fleet manager. Okay, so these clusters can be added. Um, and then you create an update group. What is an update group? Update group is a group where updates are applied in parallel. Okay, so that's an update group. And okay, so think of an example. Let's say that you have, I'm going to give a very simple example. Let's say that you have like um, a, an IT department has like 10 clusters, 5 are test, 5 are production. Okay, you may want to create an upgrade group test, and you may want to create an upgrade group, update group production. Okay, so 5 cluster in test, 5 in production. Remember, a member cluster can only be part of one update group. Okay, let's move on. What is the update stage? That's the orchestration, and the orchestration that you create. Okay, and a stage, it can, so let's think of the IT department scenario. You want to do first update the test, dev test update group. Okay, those live cluster, you update them, then you put a wait. And yeah, you can wait. In that, you do the testing on the updated ones, make sure everything is good, and then you update the production update. Okay, and so that's how you do an up kind of a stage. And what is an update run? It's it's your entire orchestration when you execute it. Okay, and you can start an update run, stop it, manage it, all that. So this is kind of how a stage is explained. You start stage one, and then you have a stage two in which you have different update groups that are being processed, and then you go to stage three, and then you can have a pause. As you can see, you have a pause after those may be test stages where you are testing stuff or your test clusters are running, and you are want to see that everything is good in the wait stage, and then move forward. So that's that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the demo. I think enough of the slides, and let's take a look. Okay, so first of all, let's go in here. Let's look at the Fleet Manager creation experience. Okay, so let's take a look. Like, how does this look like? So first of all, you have a resource group. So let's pick a, yes, so I have a demo, and then I can give it a name. One. Okay, that's the option. And that's where I stole the diagram, as you can see. And by the way, this is a mistake. This should be the last one. I overwrote it. This should be, network load balancing. Any case, so these are the two options: hubless or with the hub cluster. Okay, a standard tier cluster managed by Microsoft, hosted on your subscription. Multi-cluster updates and multi-cluster load balancing. Got it? That's what it is. So once you do that, and then you can add member cluster here as well. You can go in here and see what are your cluster. These are the cluster I have. Up to 100 cluster can be added, and it gives you a warning. That some cluster may already be. It does not recognize at this moment that these clusters are or are not part of a fleet, but but you should be aware of it. But in any case, these are 100 clusters you can add, and you just say and then add, and that's all there is to it, and then you create the fleet manager. And by the way, you don't have to do it. You can do it after that. So once you do the creation, after that, you can do the you you can add that as well. By the way, is anybody having audio issues? Please feel free to speak up. Or post in the chat. Hello? Um, so, sorry guys. Okay, let me. You hear me now? Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry guys. I really apologize. I did not realize that I'm having some audio issues. So, uh, by the way, so let me, what is the last statement you heard from me, guys, if you don't mind? Can somebody, uh,
I think it was always on and off, Naveed. Um,
so
but
from the
we
beginning?
from the beginning, yes, but then we
Oh
could
man.
on and off. Like it wasn't that bad when you started off, but then for the last few 3 or 4 minutes, it was like completely gone. So I think the diagram where you showed us was
Oh,
probably
okay. Okay. So let me start with this diagram or the previous one?
no in the portal you saw that
Oh,
like where
in the
you stole
portal.
the you said you
Okay,
stole
okay.
the diagram from the portal thing. But
Okay, I got it, got it. Okay, folks, thank you. And please feel free to speak up and really apologize for you know, this issue. Technology is as good as when it works. So, okay. So as I said, there are two modes. One is with cluster and one is without cluster. Okay. And the cluster, the mode with the cluster, it gives you, of course, ability to do resource object propagation and ability to do multi-cluster load balancing. Okay, the last item here, as I said, I think it's a typo. It should be multi-cluster load balancing. Okay, as you can see, without hub cluster, the only thing that you're have available is multi-cluster updates. So if you just need multi-cluster updates, you don't need to do a hub cluster. If you need more, of course, you do it. In any case, what you do is you provide this information and then you add cluster members. Just keep in mind that you can add up to 100 clusters. Number one. Number two, you it will not know if a cluster is already a member of another fleet at this moment. Okay, so you have to know, like, okay, are these the member of the other fleet or not? That's how you do it. Okay, and just want to confirm again. Are you still able to listen? I mean, can you hear me right now?
yeah, perfect.
Okay, perfect. So that's that. And so once we have this thing here, let's move on to uh, you know a fleet manager that I've already created because it takes some time to create it. So what I have done is I have already created a fleet manager. So here is the fleet manager that I have created. And if we go in here, as you can see, overview, it shows you what are the different, um, you know, uh, the the clusters that are there. As you can see, there are, and it tells you, that there are three clusters with 1.28 and one cluster with 1.27.7 version. So that thing is available to you. Then it has node pools, how many multi-cluster updates have happened so far, how many completed successfully, all of that. If you want to do a detailed look at member clusters, you can look here as well. This will give you more information. What different versions are there, what regions, what update group they are, and go from there. So let's do a multi-cluster update. Okay, let's see how it works. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna create a new run, and we're gonna call it demo run 4. And what we're gonna do is you can do stage or you can do one by one. If you have a couple of cluster, you can do one by one. If you wanna do a stage, then you will have to create a stage and go from there. Okay. So let's go in and what we do is we create a stage. We call it demo stage. And in that demo stage, what we're going to do is we are going to assign an update group. So we do it here and we do a save. So we assigned an update group and Actually, what we can do here is we can go back strategies and yeah. So again, let me just go back here once again. Create. And oh, by the way, this is important. In regards to upgrade scope, you can decide what scope you want. Do you want the latest one, or let's say you want a different version, or you just wanna do the Kubernetes version or just the Node version only. So you can decide what thing you wanna pick. So once again, let's go in here and sorry guys, demo run one and we create a stage and we call it demo. Sorry guys, one more time. I think I have already used that demo run 4. Okay, and we have the stages. Let's create a stage 5 and update groups, and we are gonna do assign an update group, and over here we are gonna we're gonna click here, create new, and I'm gonna do a UPDG2. Okay, so I assigned it and I'm gonna save it here. So that's the update group I'm gonna pick, and I am going to uh, create the state. So this is all, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say that update and install uh, 1.28. Okay, the latest image. And with that, I'm just going to create a new strategy, demo stat 2. Okay. Okay. So now we have a demo run 4. And what we can do is we can start that and it will. So you see what I'm saying? I mean, and by the way, everything that I'm doing, you can do it from the command line, from CLI and all that. So that's definitely there as well. Okay. Santosh, are you again having are we again having audio issues?
No, I think you're clear now. I mean, you've been
Okay,
clear. Pretty
okay,
clear.
good. So let's refresh it. As you can see, this is running. It will take some time to complete. So that's one of the item um, that you can do. Um, so basically, what we saw, you can go into the um, cluster, sorry, fleet manager. You can add um, members to it. So once again, I want to show it to you here. These are member clusters, and it has 4 members right now, and it is running. As you can see, it's applying, succeeded. So it's already succeeded deployed to 1.28, and I can add more members. If there are more cluster, I can add more members. Got it? So that's that. Um, so what? Since we have 4 more minutes, I'm gonna spend some quick few minutes on how to set up like the object propagation. So what I'm gonna do is now I'm going to first of all, you know, create a namespace, and then what I'm gonna do is see how we can propagate the object inside that namespace into um, into the other clusters in the fleet. Okay, so bear with me for a second. I am opening the command line. Oh, come on. So here is the command line. Let's go in here. Okay, so basically, in the command line, first of all, so what I'm doing here, first of all, what I have done is, there is a command called qctl get credentials. I have done that command, and I put the credential in the fleet for the fleet itself, and I am creating a namespace here with this name. The namespace has been created. The next thing I need to do is basically um, apply, create some objects inside the namespace and apply it to um, the um, apply it to the fleet. Okay, so this is, let me show you what is that in that YAML, and we can go from there. So there are some, I'm deploying a online demo that is inside that. So that's all I'm doing, nothing much. So let's close it and let's deploy that. The point is, what you will see is that this will show up. Oops. Okay, so that deployment has been created. The next thing is, and let's take a look at this one, another file. And by the way, everything is documented very well. So I mean, if you look at the documentation, you should be able to, I'm just following all the documentation. I'm not doing anything on my own. So documentation should be enough. But in any case, look at this. I'm now making it that our cluster resource placement, basically I'm pushing this object out to all the member servers. Okay, so let's quickly do it. I know we have 1 more minute, so let me just run this. Um, um, Let me paste it. And okay, so that has been created. Let's see how it is progressing. And let's paste this here. So this, as you can see here, these are all the replacement. This is the one we just created now. Was doing the demo, so I have some which has been there before. But look, all of the namespaces are this propagation has just started. It's going to start pushing this resource placement out there. Okay, so now let's check if that exists on one of the clusters. So once again, I have already done a kubectl get credential, and the credential for AKS East are here, one of the member clusters. So let me see if that namespace is there. If I do it, look, that namespace is there. So basically, look at this. We don't have to go into each cluster and deploy it. Let's say if there are 100 clusters, you're not going to run that command 100 times. It's pushing it to the fleet, and that it's pushing it out to all of its member clusters. Okay. Um, any questions, folks? I really apologize for sound issues. And so if there are any questions, comments, feedback. Okay, so I hope everybody had a wonderful rest of their day, and hopefully see everybody next week for uh, another session of Azure Power Lunch. And have a great weekend, folks.